Hi there guys, how we doing? Wednesday? Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the channel. Hope your working week's going okay. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. Thanks for tuning in again. Just a short video today. Not sure if anyone listens to this podcast in particular, but there's a podcast called the Spanish Football Podcast, which is hosted by a guy called Phil Kitramalides and a Spanish football journalist called Sid Lowe. Sid Lowe in particular is a very well-respected Spanish football journalist. He's been living in Spain for a number of decades now. He used to translate for press conferences for football managers. I think he works for The Guardian as well. He's a very well-informed, very well-written, very well-respected journalist over in Spain, and he hosts his podcast, really good podcast every week, which basically just covers all news that's going on in Spain's La Liga. They often do player interviews and stuff like that. It's a really good, source of news if you're interested in European football. If you're interested in Spanish football in particular, then I'd definitely recommend checking that out because they go through all the games and it just gives a really good insight into what's going on. And obviously with Sky Sports' lack of coverage for La Liga now, obviously they had revisited La Liga back in the day, didn't they? Which was a fantastic program. Now that Sky Sports have lost that coverage, this is a really good insight into Spain and what's going on over there in the football. So, I was listening to that the other day, and basically Sid Lowe was talking about how Javier Tebas, now Tebas is the president of La Liga, so he's the guy who calls the shots, he makes the decisions for all of the football clubs over in La Liga, and he is basically looking into the possibility of allowing stadiums in Spain to be 30% full as of the beginning of next season. I think their matches start tomorrow with a game between Betis and Seville, which is going to be a fantastic game, the Andalusian derby. So their stadium is due to finish their season is due to finish by, I think it's the end of July. They're looking to get it done. I think they've got about 10 game weeks left over there. Obviously the restart of their league is due to start tomorrow. So Tebas is looking at the possibility of allowing 30% of the stadium's capacity of fans to go in as of next season, as of the start of next season, which is going to be mid-September, hopefully. I think that's a really good idea. Obviously this virus and the outcome and the consequences of this virus isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon, is it? We're still going to have to social distance for the rest of the year at least. Obviously congregating in large crowds, in bars and stuff like that is going to be very, very unlikely for the foreseeable future unless social distancing is maintained at a metre and a half, 2 metres in some countries. So obviously there's going to be a lot of caveats to that if it does ever get approved, with fans getting back inside stadiums. But I think that the fact that Tebas is even speaking about this is a fantastic idea because as we've seen in Germany, obviously Germany, the only major league to start back up so far, and I think Portugal have as well, actually, haven't they? Beg your pardon. But but with most of the Bundesliga games being televised at the moment, I think that with the stadiums being empty, it does definitely miss the fans there, doesn't it? I know that they've started to play like crowd noises over the top. I was watching the Leverkusen against Bayern game the other day, and they were playing almost like crowd generated noises over the top of the game the whole way through with like ultras chanting and stuff like that. And I thought it was a really good idea. I thought it come across really well on the TV, and it wasn't too much like because at first when I started watching it I was like, oh, this is going to be like FIFA, with the fake crowd noises and stuff. But I actually think they did it really well, and I think people like Gary Lineker on Twitter and stuff like that was also talking about it as well as to how much they enjoyed it. So there are ways around these behind closed door stadiums at the moment. With no fans in these 60, 70,000 seat stadiums, it's very weird to see, but at least these guys who own these leagues and they run these leagues and they call the shots, at least they're looking at ways of doing this. And I think that with Javier Tebas now obviously exploring the possibility of 30% of crowds being allowed into games next season, you know, that's just the next step into completely reopening sport for fans, isn't it? Because, you know, that old saying, football without fans is nothing. And I think that, you know, with this unprecedented situation at the moment, you know, no one could have predicted this, and I don't think anyone begrudges football starting back up without the fans, because, you know, if you pack 50,000 fans into, you know, inside a stadium with the current state of affair, there's going to be a second spike all over Europe. So, yeah, completely understand as to why there is no fans at the moment. But that 30% rule is quite interesting, because you have a look at some of the stadiums in Spain. You've got the Nou Camp, which is nearly 100,000 fans. You've got the Bernabeu, which is, 75, 80,000 fans. You've got the Mestalla, which is 60,000 fans and stuff like that. So, yeah, you have to be very careful, obviously, with these social distancing rules. And, you know, obviously there will be rules around that as to, you know, kind of like, I would imagine that fans who get a ticket to go to these games, if it does get pushed forward, this 30% rule, you know, they'll have to be tested for the coronavirus, and they'll probably have to quarantine and stuff like that. And everyone inside the ground will obviously have to test negative if they do allow them in and stuff like that. But yeah, just thought it was a very interesting development that's going on in Spain at the moment. And I think it's going to be widely received as a good thing. You know, obviously, if fans do start getting back inside stadiums, even at 30% full, it'll still be an atmosphere. I still think it'll be a good thing to happen. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts below. You know, obviously leave a comment or talk to me on Twitter. My Twitter account is @EastTerraced0. So yeah, just let me know kind of like, you know, like what your thoughts are around the 30% rule. You know, could you see it being implemented in England? Obviously, we've got some massive stadiums in England, you know, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000 in some cases. So yeah, very, very interesting development coming out of Spain with the 30% rule that Javier Tebas is looking to introduce. So let me know what you think, and you know, see if there's any more development about that, I'll let you know. All right, thanks very much, guys. Stay safe, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.